Ladies and gentlemen, this is Diablo 3. I'm Kagekaze, and your votes have decided that we're going to continue on with the monk. For extra nerd points, I've decided to name my monk In, as this combines with my other monk Yang, so Yin Yang, of course, there you go. And not only that, but it happens to be a character I really like in the series Darker Than Black. I recommend you watch it if you haven't, especially if you like shows like Cowboy Bebop. Alright, we're moving on away from that. We have a couple things to talk about today as far as Diablo 3 is concerned, so let me go ahead and go in with the monk here. Wonderfully, Diablo Fans has released a really large list of changes in the game that were undocumented. So I have some things I can go over when I level up, especially what's added to this that I'll be able to talk about as I play the game. Is I now have data on runestones. I didn't know what any changes happened to the runestones before. Now I have a comprehensive list of what's changed, so I can tell you what's been nerfed or changed in a way here in the beta. If you haven't gone to Diablo Fans, I definitely recommend it. They put a lot of hard work into giving us all this information. It is a very, very large list. Printed out, I think, about 20 pages or so because of all the changes.
Set the balance of this land. I seek it. Captain Rumford, more data coming.
Alright, a couple of things have been happening here as well as far as Diablo 3 is concerned. Of course, there has been the news that Blizzard is looking to get rid of about 600 jobs. Before, of course, you panic about that, please keep in mind that most of these jobs, about 90%, are not development jobs. Blizzard prefers to keep close-knit development teams, so their development teams are a little smaller compared to other teams in the industry, and they like to keep it that way. So getting rid of people in those development teams is a very difficult decision if they decide to do that. We have no idea what teams would be affected, but honestly, you're going to see this a lot on the forums, and I urge people to kind of steer away from this, but people are going to speculate that the game's not releasing because they're trying to keep their jobs. You know, honestly, it doesn't work that way. If they try to slow down development because they're trying to keep their jobs, they're going to end up losing those jobs anyway, because that's just not how business works. Also, because they're losing their jobs doesn't necessarily mean that there's a skip in when the game is going to be released or anything like that. You know, this is a very internal decision. Again, most of these positions are not development. It really should have no impact on what we see on Diablo 3. So please keep that in mind before you go out and start having all these conspiracy theories and doom and gloom. Now, lastly, there is some good news here. In that regards, our melee attack here, as I've talked about this before, melee attack appears to be gone from the beta here except for the beginning because you can't select it. There has been a post from Blizzard confirming that they have not gotten rid of it. If you've read the patch note changes from Diablo Fans, you would notice that skills like Virtuoso for the Wizard, which allowed you to gain power from attacking with basic attack, they've been removed from the game. And they've even stated that this will not be put back. So they do not intend for us to use basic attacks as far in regards to passives. But that doesn't mean it's going away. They said they're not sure how they're going to handle it yet. The intent right now is that they might add it to primary attack, and you can select it in here. Honestly, that's all well and good, but that of course removes a skill that you can use. I personally would like to see a button that you hold down. Like for now, if I hold down shift, I can attack in place without moving. So if they did something with maybe control or something like that to where I could use basic attack instead of taking up a slot, that would be great. But they're looking into it. It is not final. They don't know exactly what they're going to do with it, but they're not going to get rid of it. Alright, so now that I've leveled, let's just go ahead real quick. I'll pass on Leah here.
I will send them back to their graves. Thank you.
Alright. Fists of Thunder, this ability has not changed as far as I can tell. Unleash a series of extremely fast punches that deal 100% weapon damage as lightning. Every third hit deals damage to all enemies in front of you and knocks them back a short distance. Generate spirit faster than other spirit generators due to its high attack speed. Talked about that a little bit the last time I played the monk. Most of the spirit generators are around the same power. This one will attack faster, give us a little more spirit. Has not been changed as far as the beta goes. So we'll go ahead and put that on. My first secondary is Dashing Strike. So they've changed that a bit. It used to be Blinding Flash, so I'd lose a little bit of utility, but I'm going to gain mobility, and I honestly think I'm going to like that here at level 2. So let's go ahead and put Dashing Strike on. Real quick, we're going to look at it. It's quickly dash at the targeted enemy or location, dealing 80% weapon damage, and rooting the target for 1 second. This actually has been nerfed by about 50%. It originally did 160% weapon damage. It's been brought down to 80. I can see 2 reasons for this. One, the ability is a mobility ability, which means I can use it to move around quickly, and I can move from one enemy to the next very fast. So not only that, but you can use it fairly quickly. So 80% just kind of makes sense, as it allows me to get into position and it allows me to escape. It seems a lot of the utility abilities are losing their damage.
I will help you fight the risen dead.
I admire your...
That will...
Well, I have...
They're attacking the barricades!
I really do like Fists of Thunder, that third attack. Let me just zoom in a little bit. This is one of the things I like the monk class for.
That's one of the wretched mothers. There are more of them in the ruins down the road.
Is going to be the combination strikes. Alright, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and add some gear here. I don't think I'll gain DPS by using 2 weapons. We'll find out. 6-5, yeah, it goes down. So let me... Okay, still decent attack speed. So this is a 5.4. I've been avoiding putting weapons on my starting characters so the enemies don't die too quickly, because I want to experiment with the character and see how the power curve goes as I level. In this case, 5.4 is honestly not a very high DPS, and it's got a 2 experience on it. I've also got here some bracers with 4, a chest piece with 3, gloves for another 3, looks like legs for 4. Alright, there we go. A nice amount of experience gear right from the beginning, and let's just go ahead and go down here. You can see I'm getting 16 bonus experience per kill. Now, someone did point out that just because it says 16 bonus experience, that kind of makes it hard to put it into perspective. It's really hard for me to tell you exactly what kind of bonus that is, because that is going to scale based on my level. What I can tell you is that a basic monster here, one of these Risen, they give about 35 experience apiece. Some give up to 40, and Quillboars give about 120. So if you put it in the perspective of one of these Risen, they give about 30 experience, and I'm getting 16 bonus experience. What that means is I'm getting about 50% more experience right now. Now as I level, that number, of course, will start to go down. The percentage that I gain, like right now I'm gaining levels at 50% the speed. Later on, as my experience goes up, of course, it takes more and more experience to level. So the percentage boost that you're getting will go down, because these are not, as you can see, they are not percentage. It's not 1% extra experience, 3% extra experience. It's 1 experience point. So as I move further along, they're going to be less and less useful. Alright, for the sake of trying to get you guys the most content in a short period of time, I of course will be using all this experience gear that I can. I will be doing a full exploration still, because a lot of people like to see that. Also, it allows me to get more leveling done in a single playthrough, so that I have a little more to talk about each time.
Praise the powers that...
What I will try and avoid is just trying to blow everything up. I know part of the exploration is trying to find items, but because I have a decent amount of items already, I will pretty much be moving quickly in places like the Cathedral, where if there's a lot of barrels and a lot of things to click on, I'm going to try and avoid that too much. I will still be looking for monsters, though, of course. Of course, there is the benefit of blowing some barrels up, and that monsters do come out of them, but well, I'll take it on a case-by-case basis, and we'll see how it goes as I move along. I do love how quickly Dashing Strike moves me when I have a target. Doesn't go very far without a target, though. And barrels apparently don't count. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get my next skill here before I do this. I've got Deadly Reach now. Just like Fists of Thunder at 6 spirit per attack. Project lines of pure force over a short distance for 100% weapon damage. And every third hit extends out 25 yards. This has honestly not been changed. And I'll double check here because I do have again some notes from Diablo fans. So we're looking at Deadly Reach. Real fast, Deadly Reach. Nope, no change until we get to one of the runes. So I'll go ahead and put that on. It's a little bit slower, but I like the additional distance that it gets.
That ability is not yet recharged.
I'm just going to kick people and beat them with a club. That's honestly one of the reasons why I like having a basic attack, to be honest with you, is I like just being able to see what happens when you just want to beat someone with your weapon. And Deadly Reach, as you can see, doing a nice job of letting me hit enemies at a distance. Oop, lost my third hit. Larson the Strange, Eater of Vegetables. That's an interesting name. He was snacking on poor Wareve.
I returned to Honduras after 20 years. The burden of countless failures and tragedies heaped upon my shoulders. Am I being punished for helping that stranger hunt the Dark Wanderer? I always thought Deckard Cain half a madman. But perhaps he was right. Perhaps he can banish the shadow hanging over my life.
Alright, I'm going to go ahead and put on more of my experience gear. And I go from 16 to 31, so I've just doubled my bonus experience by gear. I should have put that on earlier, but hey, it's only a few monsters, not a big deal. Let me go ahead and look at myself with the new helmet. I don't really think I care for that style of helmet. I kind of like either the glass stars or really just the without it. Unfortunately, you can't turn it off. Although, I do believe they said they will be putting in clear dyes that I believe can make an armor piece go away if you don't want to display it. So instead of dyeing it a color, you can just make it go away. Which, if that is true, if they continue, if they do that, then that'll add a lot of customization to how you can make your character look.
The ruins of Old Tristram. The shadow of
Because in this
Diablo
case, I would
still
probably
hangs
rather
over
just
this place.
dye out the helmet if I could. So now that I'm getting about 30 experience per kill, that's again like killing one free zombie every time I kill an enemy. So that'll give you an idea of just what experience gear can do for you. Of course, again, as I may have stated in another playthrough, you know, when you play through the game normally, you may or may not want to do that. You know, honestly, if it stays easy, you might want to consider that. Honestly, for the first playthrough, I probably won't. On subsequent playthroughs for additional characters, I'll probably make sure I carry some experience gear so that I can level quickly as I go through the game again for a second or third time.
I had heard the rumors, but I thought them just fancies of bored women, until I saw them dragging people through the streets today. Our own citizens. Has the world gone mad?
Thank you for your help.
Nor should she. My understanding grows. Come.
We'll need to open the cathedral.
And I have leveled again, and I have a new skill slot. What did I pick up? Blinding Flash. So they give it to me a little bit later instead of right away. This one is level 9, so I won't be using that for some time. But as you can see, I've already got almost every single slot. See, this is 3 additional experience. Almost everything is filled now with experience gear. The shoulder will not be replaced until 9. So I have something for practically every location.
I worked my hands to the bone to bring you these fine.
Now, let's see. It's a new skill slot, so I don't have to worry about giving anything up, as I do like both of these. I do like Dashing Strike, so let's go ahead and put it on my defensive. Blinding Flash. Let me just make sure there's been no change to it. I'm pretty sure there hasn't. Alright, Blinding Flash, 10 Spirit, 15-second cooldown. Flash of Light blinds all enemies within 20 yards for 3 seconds. Elite monsters will recover early but suffer a 30% chance to miss. So I like the fact that this ability has some kind of component that allows you to use it on strong enemies, even if it doesn't incapacitate them.
Adria was my mother, but I don't know much about her. She died when I was very young.
Even though I covered it on the last time I played the monk, I'll go ahead and mention it here because it is fairly important. Blinding Flash did lose the amount of time that it could hold an enemy target incapacitated. I believe it was like 5 to 7 seconds or something like that. The reason being is that they made it so that Blinding Flash cannot be broken by damage anymore. When it had the long stun duration on it, it would be broken the moment they took damage, which, you know, honestly, with a lot of AoE abilities, I'm sure made the ability fairly useless, to be honest. Oh, I was hoping to get him before he got next to me. Oh well.
Here's the key.
I will find your uncle.
Thank you.
Aiden came to me last night. I suspected what was lurking within his troubled heart. I consoled him as best I could. Regardless, wherever he's headed, hell will surely follow in his wake. The shadows close in on Tristram once again. But like Aiden, I'll be gone before they fall.
Brave Robin. I am killing fairly quickly. Even though the weapon I have was not a massive boost, it is still fairly strong compared to this level, considering the weapon you start off with is a 3.0 DPS.
Tristram Cathedral. The star fell here. The star fell here.
Now what I'll go ahead and do here is kind of show something off a little bit. I'm going to make this Fist of Thunder. I'm going to go ahead and make this Deadly Reach, and I think I will put Dashing Strike on. There we go. Completely change up my bars. As I did talk about this in the last monk video, I figure it's worth re-mentioning, just because I'm not sure how many people have seen that and haven't, considering the new patch is what a lot of people are interested in right now. Is that you can combine your skills here. I can hit with Fists of Thunder and then move on to Deadly Reach, and it will pick up the combination strike. So each ability has a strike 1, a strike 2, and a strike 3. 1, 2, 3. It's not based on using that skill, it's based on the actual strike number. So 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3. So as you can see, the number in the rotation is what's more important. This is especially important because of the passive that you will get near the end of the game called Combination Strike. Every time you attack with a new generator, you gain a bonus to your damage. The cooldown, though, the duration of the buff is not very long. So you have to make sure that you're constantly attacking. Or throwing up new abilities into the mix.
I don't want to change.
My mind is stronger.
What's especially useful of using these two abilities is, as I said before, the Fist of Thunder is the quick striking ability. You can see there's a tiny bit of delay between each individual strike of Deadly Reach compared to Fists of Thunder. What this means by combining them this way is if what I'm really interested in is that third hit, because the third hit of a combo is always the best hit, the most impressive. And if I want to get that out quickly, I can do 2 Thunders into reach. That way I'm attacking quickly until I get the ability to shoot that long strike there. Alright, what I'll be doing though is I'll be going back to Deadly Reach as my primary here, as I've got Lashing Tail Kick now. Unleash a deadly roundhouse kick, knocking enemies back, and dealing 200% weapon damage. This actually has been nerfed. We're looking at about 11%, so not by a lot. It went down from 225% down to 200. So it's still fairly high damaging ability. Let's go ahead and put that on. I like having Dashing Strike. I'm not too worried about Blinding Flash. I think I'll go ahead and do that.
I must wait to use that ability.
There you go. Show off the ability a bit.
Not enough spirit.
Alright, let me change this up just a tiny bit. Unfortunately, I have to move things around because of the new UI system. I just wanted to swap the position of these two, but of course, as you can see, I can't just do that. One does not simply walk into change your skills. You have to move things around. I want Lashing Tail Kick as number 1 because I can spam Dashing Strike. So there we go. I just have to suffer through the 15-second cooldown a couple times instead of being able to just swap them to, the two abilities. I had to change one to a completely different ability before I can turn them off. Now, no fundamental changes have really happened to the Monk's Spirit resource. It still is a resource that does not drop, unlike the Barbarian's Fury. So, as you can see, I can keep my Spirit and keep going. That hasn't changed. And it still generates as I hit things, and it does not generate from attacking inanimate objects or just attacking barrels at breakable items and stuff like that. I will not get, say, 39, 39. If I were a Barbarian, I would have gotten a Fury. Now the Barbarian does get passives and gear and such that will increase Fury generation and completely remove the Fury degradation. But of course that does take your passive slot, so you have to consider whether or not you want to actually do that. And the monk will gain gear that gives you spirit generation. That being said, there was a fundamental change to the game regarding monks. The spirit generation on items, in general, has been given a buff. So, whereas before, the spirit generation for monks on the items was not very high. And they've gone ahead and increased that. So, monks gear will scale. Because what you may have noticed with monks spirit spenders, as I really can't think of a better name because they've changed all the categories around, but anything that costs spirit, I've looped around here, anything that costs spirit is usually fairly high. I mean, some of the higher end abilities, 25, that one's not very high, 30, those are all defensive though. When you actually get to the final ones, like this one, that's 100 spirit for Wave of Light. That means you have to attack quite a bit before you can use it. So having the spirit generation on items increased is very helpful to monks. So even though our resource doesn't regenerate at the beginning of the game, eventually it will start because we'll have gear that has it. And that will keep us from having a lot of downtime with our skills. I like the kick, even though I don't use it a lot. It's one of those things of having a finisher that I like. It's kind of the same reason why I liked martial arts assassins in 2. Just having a finishing move that was flashy and did a lot of damage always felt right. Looks like we're fully done here. Kill these guys here. So before I get to Deckard, you know, some of you may have noticed I sound a bit different in this video. I haven't, of course, I'm recording live right now, so I can't really tell you how it sounds or preview it. But part of it is because I did finally replace that headset I talked to you guys about. The one that had the microphone duct taped to it. Oh, yes. I have purchased, if you're interested, it is actually a Turtle Beach PX3 headset. It is wireless. But the microphone is very clear from the stats I've read. Amazing quality on that. So if you like what you hear, I recommend it. I can tell you this, the headset part, the sound that's coming through is very clear and very loud. I don't have to have windows turned up hardly at all.
Stay back. Back!
If you go to Newegg like I do, you won't find it under PC accessories, though. It's actually listed as a PS3 headset, as it can be used with PS3, Xbox 360, and the PC. Ooh, he went flying. Come back here. I missed. Whew. Chase after him. There you go, knock him away and just dash right into him. There's a combo.
It was not your time, old man. Come, Leah is waiting for you.
Oh, it is wonderful to hear that Leah is well. I feared the worst.
Hakiba!
I learned of this secret passage through old maps I found. We must discuss the fallen star. Follow